All right, Sledson listeners, welcome back to the next episode of the Sledson podcast. As always, appreciate you guys being here regardless of what platform you are on. However, if you are on YouTube and you're not subscribed, what are you doing, brother? We'd appreciate it if you guys subscribed. And as always, there's be sure to check out the description. There's a ton of discount codes and links to a bunch of our sponsors, save you guys some money, as well as if you are interested in applying to be a part of the Sledson Team Rider Brotherhood, the application for that is in the description as well. I think it's the second link. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. Let's jump right into this episode. I don't do that very often. So this episode, for those of you that are not watching, it's just Jose and myself, and we are going to dive into our first ride of the 25-26 season. So Jose and I were fortunate enough to go up into Northern Washington this last Saturday and ride with one of our fellow team riders, Steven, and his buddy Tyler. So it was the four of us. And yeah, let's just start right there. So I'm going to let you kind of tell this story because of the very first thing on the trail, towards the end of the trail that happened. So I'll let you kind of set the tone. But why don't you start from like the very, very, very beginning of like the decision that we made of like, hey, we're going to go.
Yeah. Well, Tyler and I, we had been talking about potentially making a trip up to Revy, just because we were both anxious to ride. I feel like I've never been to Revy, so that was kind of another thing that I wanted to check off the list. But we both kind of came down to the decision that, you know, Revy, we can.
You're being so nice. I made the decision.
Well, but when after you explained to me why you didn't want to go, then it made sense, right? Yeah. Then it was like, yeah, like that, I can get down with that, right?
Yes.
So right away, this was Wednesday, right? So the day before we were going to take off to go to Revy.
Yeah, technically.
So then, not really a scramble, but then I got on Instagram and Steven had just posted the reel of him in that burn, and I replied to it and I was like, "Tell me you're going riding Saturday." And he was
where?
like, "Yeah," he was like, "Absolutely." And I was like, "Cool. How far are we from you? Where are you going to go ride? And give me a snow park name. I'll check to see how far of a drive it is for us, and then figure it out from there." So he sent me a snow park name. I looked it up, and it was 3.5 hours from where I was at. I was up in Connell in Washington working, so I figured another hour and some change for us.
4.5 hours from
4.5
Hermiston
total from Hermiston. So then I got a hold of you right away, and I was like, "Yo, let's go ride with Steven up in Washington this weekend." And we both wanted to ride. It was just Revy or we're staying in Washington. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we made the decision. We were going to go ride with Steven. You booked us a hotel. We made a game plan, and we figured, let's take off Friday. We're planning on leaving Thursday and being gone till Sunday. So there's no harm in taking off Friday afternoon and staying the night somewhere and riding Saturday, coming back after we ride. So yeah, that's what we did. I went to the DMV Friday morning because I had to register my sled. It still wasn't registered to be. So I went to the DMV, registered my sled. I was walking back to my truck, and you called me, and you said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm at the DMV." And you were like, "Oh yeah, I see you." I look over to my left, and you were at the stoplight.
Yeah, I was going to Shipping Solutions to drop off a bunch of packages for Sledson merch for people getting entered to win the Backwoods Giveaway Retreat. Yep. Right, so I was headed there and just happened to call you to see what the game plan was, and
there
you were.
Yeah, there I was.
In the parking lot.
So we got to talking. You got to the Shipping Solutions, and I was like, "Well, since we're already here, you want to just throw my sled on your deck?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'll swing in here in a couple minutes." So a couple minutes went by. You pulled into the parking lot at the DMV, pulled our ramps out, and I dumped my sled off my deck and put it up on yours, and there we were. We were loaded up. At least the sled's ready to go ride. So then I came home, had a few things needed to tend to at the house before we could take off. But then, I texted you, like 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
Noon 1-ish.
Yeah. So just to give some context before we get too far into it, but what I had mentioned about what had happened on the trail was an avalanche. So stay tuned. Don't exit out of this episode yet.
Don't let me lose you, because I'm starting from the beginning. Yeah. So
yeah, you got done around like 12:30 or 1.
Yeah, 12:31. We hit the road, made a pit stop in Ephrata, hung out with Titan for a little bit, had a burger, just kind of met him, shook hands.
Well, we didn't even realize until after the fact when we typed in the address. We're like, oh, we have to go right through Moses Lake.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, that's where Titan is.
Yeah.
So and called him, and then we met him there in Ephrata, which is right outside of Moses Lake. But
yeah, met him for dinner, hung out for a little bit, shook hands, said our highs, said our byes. Got to the hotel in Winthrop, walked out, went and got dinner, kind of just killed the night, killed some time, went back to the hotel.
We were in bed by like 10 because it was just you and I. Now, if Kobe and Shay were, part of this, it would have been a little bit different of a story.
It would have been a problem the next morning. So we woke up in the morning. Steven was running a little bit behind. So we were chilling, waiting in the hotel room, waiting for them to get there. Once he got there, I mean, it was pretty quick. Left the hotel, got some snacks, got some fuel, and we were on the road. Steven is pretty quick getting down the road.
He was cruising, bro.
Yeah, he was moving. A
lot of snow and ice on the road, and this was my first ride, and obviously I've got a lot of experience driving in bad weather because we're snowmobilers and then living in Montana and stuff, but still always like my first couple rides and drives, I'm a little bit hesitant just to get back into it, but anyways.
Parked the trucks, dumped the sleds off, did our trailhead checked our transceivers, made sure
time.
Every time, every time, no questions asked.
What's your vibes at this moment?
Oh, dude.
How many times did you
dude. I was sitting there. I looked like a fly. Fly lands on you and they're sitting there doing this little number with their little hands. I was ready. I was ready to ride. Day one on my boost. Like I was hyped. So I think it was raining on us, was kind of the only kind of damper, but I was like, nah, we're gonna go up higher. Like it's gonna turn to snow. It has to turn to snow. So everything was pretty wet. At the trucks when we took off.
So I'm gonna interject a little bit. So while we were getting our gear on, getting the sleds unloaded and everything, Steven unfortunately forgot his radio. Which he said it was the first time in like years that he'd ever done that. So when we were unloading and everything, there was a group of like 3 trucks of a different crew, which they play a role in this story a little bit later. But Steven asked you and I if we had spare radios, and I was like, no, I don't, which, side note, I'm going to get some spare radios, and I'm going to get a spare transceiver just in case, because none of us have spares, I don't think. So it'd be good to just have those in the truck. So Steven asked us if we had some. I said no, and he's like, well, I'm going to go talk to these guys. And I was like, oh, well, here, take this with you if they have one. And so I gave him some Sledson air fresheners and some stickers and the business card with the QR code and whatnot. And Steven went down there and gave them that and got a spare radio from them. And then, did our transceiver check and then took off. So.
Then we were gone down the road. My sled was running really hot going up. Dude. I had to stop a few times.
What was the hottest you hit?
I was 195. Just flashing red.
No good.
Yeah. Can't do it, brother. So I had to stop and pull off a few times, which wasn't ideal because I was very excited to go ride. But that also potentially I feel like could be a factor into what ended up happening because I had to stop 2-3 times and kill that much time. It allowed for the group behind us to catch up to us at the point that they did.
So before they caught back up to us and before we stopped, one of the places we did pause to cool down was right at Dead Horse.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Because Titan had told us, he was like, hey, what was your reaction to seeing that?
Yeah, well, Titan the night before said, it's going to look sketchy, but you can get your truck through there. You'll be fine. brother, I'm not taking my truck anywhere near the edge of that cliff.
Yeah.
Dude, it was straight, just a sheer drop. Dude,
Yeah.
and like
straight cliffs on the
straight cliffs on your right
upside.
side, and then just cliffs on the other side, dude. Like
long ways.
You threw a snowball down, dude, and that thing just it is a long ways down.
Yeah, it was sketchy. It'd have been funny to see Jeff there.
Oh, dude,
he would have been scared.
Dude, that sucked. That was sketchy. It was just and I parked like pretty close to the edge because I was trying to get off the trail and there was a little bit of snow right on the edge.
Yeah.
And but yeah, dude, I like walked over and looked over the edge and I was like, oh no, thank you. I don't want any part of this. Yeah. But yeah, so that was our last stop to cool down. Because maybe I'd say a quarter mile down the trail, it turned to fairly decent snow. Maybe a little more than a quarter mile.
Yeah. Well, a quarter mile and it turned to better snow, but then we still had quite a ways. Because I think from Dead Horse, he said that there was still, he said like 3,000 more in elevation to go up. So it was still quite a ways to the next stop. But
so the next stop is where all the excitement happened.
Yep.
We're
still on the road.
Still on the road, bombing down the trail, trying to get into the zone. The wind is ripping.
Yeah.
When we did our trailhead check, we knew wind slabs were going to be a problem on all aspects. Everything was loaded at and above the tree line. We were looking at considerable heavy danger.
Yeah, it was.
Below the tree line was low. But we knew the wind slabs were going to be an issue. So we're coming down the trail. The wind had blown a good, I don't know, there was a lot of snow in the trail. We went from flat to just straight hillside. I mean, it filled the entire road in. I came around a corner. By the time I came around the corner, Steven was already straight up and down.
Yeah, he got stuck in a big drift.
Yeah, you got stuck in the drift straight up and down. In hindsight, probably need to start paying attention to where I stop. Did I think about it at the time? No, because we were on the trail, right? I think that's part of the complacency of us as sledders. Like, oh, we're just on the trail, dude. Like, we're not in imminent danger here.
So something with that side note for me is because I stopped probably,
I'd say
how
40
far?
feet? 40 feet behind
40 feet behind you. Mm-hmm. Because when I pulled up, I saw Steven's sled straight up and down. Mm-hmm. And my train of thought there is like, my mindset goes to, I would so much rather park farther back and have to walk farther to help you get unstuck or whatever.
Yeah.
Cause I always try to prioritize, cause I don't know, especially if I'm not leading, obviously. Mm-hmm. This is a new place. Jose and I have never been here before. Mm-hmm. I always try to just park way far back because I don't know if we need to completely turn around and go back, right? So I try to park far enough away that I've got options, if possible, to change direction or do what I'm doing. But so I aim to always give more than necessary and sacrifice having to walk farther. Even if we do continue to go straight, it's fine. But I would rather sacrifice to walk farther than have to physically move my sled or be in a crappy situation to turn around or whatever. But anyways,
I think I had stopped probably. So it was Steven. Steven was stuck. Tyler was behind him. And Tyler was probably, I don't know, he stopped probably 30, 40 feet from Steven. And then I stopped, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet from Tyler. So I kind of windowed a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then you stopped 40 feet behind where I was. But my sled was kind of off on the right side of the trail. You came off the trail completely pretty much and kind of into the hillside. And yeah, we got off and we walked over to Steven's sled and packed some snow down, flipped his sled around. Well, now he's facing the wrong way. He's coming back towards the truck and we're all still headed going into the mountain. Yeah. About the time that he comes off the snowdrift, Tyler just bombed up and over it to the other side of it.
Yeah, because they had looked and there was the one big drift that Steven had got stuck in, and then there was a dip and then like a second drift. Yep. And so Tyler felt confident that he could get through it. Yep. And over down the road
onto the trail.
So to which he did.
And he did. Yep. He went, bombed over it and went across.
By this time, Steven drove all the way back past your sled, past my sled, and got turned around. By that time, the other group, that we'd borrowed the radio from, which was 4 dudes, which come to find out later, it was a group of 3 and then just one dude completely by himself.
Yep.
But anyways, by this time, they get caught back up to Steven.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
Steven was doing like a 40-point turn. So you and I started walking over to him to pull his front end around so that he could be facing our direction and get out from across the trail. Mm-hmm. We start walking over, and Steven got turned around before we got there.
Yeah, and we were trying to decide what we should do because Tyler had made it over, but Steven was looking at going down off the road, down into the gully, and then just climb up out of the gully farther on down.
Yep.
Right, so you and I walked back over, one, to help him assess getting the sled turned around, but then also game plan, trying to find a route to go down.
Yep. So about this time, the first guy in that group that caught up to us decided he was either going to go up and over to get around or play up on the hillside directly above us. And as soon as he went up, I saw him start to lose momentum, and he wasn't turning to side hill, and he just kept going up and slowing down and going up and slowing down. Well, he ended up stuck. And I don't know if it was like slow motion. As soon as I saw his sled settle to where he was stuck, I looked over, didn't even look at my sled. I just looked over to above where I was parked. Down the road. And it was like, you watched the whole thing break off. 2.5 foot, 3 foot thick slab just broke off and just starts coming down. Well, we were clear of it, standing clear of it. The only thing in its path was my sled. And dude, I watched my sled get pushed from the right side of the trail all the way across the trail and almost off the bank on the other side of the trail. And it was mind-boggling to me to see how easy it was for the snow to move that sled.
Quick.
Dude, you think about, like, if you go over and like try to pull your front end over even on the trail, like, you kind of got to put some effort into it by yourself. You get a couple buddies with you, it take 2-3 guys can move a sled fairly easily. But man, that snow, like, it made it like it was like the sled didn't weigh anything. It pushed it over on its side and just pushed it down. Mm-hmm. And dude, it was mind-boggling how effortlessly that sled got moved.
Yeah, so assessing a few things, I think it was roughly about 15 to 20 yards wide, the path, and the edge of the slide closest to us was probably 15 feet from where you and I were standing.
Yep.
So it was kind of close to us physically too, right? And you could only see your handlebar and a little bit of your
side panel,
top of your side panel next to the hood.
Yep.
I mean, your sled was completely engulfed.
Yep.
And I'll send a video to Jeff of this, so he'll mark this spot and he'll insert the video right now.
What just happened?
It's probably a good thing I left my sled parked where it was and walked away.
Yeah, this guy just tried to go up there, cut that cornice off, and just buried Jose's sled. Brother. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. I gotta get my sled out, I guess.
Dude, I'm so glad you were standing right there. Oh my god.
Okay, so that slid, and you kind of mentioned your first thoughts. That was, for both of us, I think that was the biggest slide that you and I had ever seen live in person.
Yep.
I mean, I've definitely come across, older slides and whatnot that have been huge or whatever, right? But live, that was the first time I've seen something that big.
Yeah.
So for both of us, it kind of, because we've done a handful of AVI-related trainings and whatnot, and I don't know, that just really kind of put it into perspective of how quick that happened, how much snow it moved, and how concreted your sled was into it. Like one of the first things that was said was like, could you imagine if if somebody was under here, we had to dig through this? Like, this is insane.
Yep.
Which they talk about in the Abbey trainings and whatnot, which is great information. But again, like they also say in the trainings, once you actually see it, you have no idea how crazy that is. But, okay. So the slide happens. You and I are kind of in awe looking at it. And we start to assess the situation, realize that nothing else is going to slide off of that particular spot right there. And then connect the dots that it was triggered by that other individual that went above us. And so I think by this time we start walking over to your sled, and that, I call him a kid, he looked like he was young 20s, started walking over to us, and you want to go from there?
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I don't know. It almost sounded to me like it was a nervous laugh, like he knew.
It was a defense mechanism.
Yeah, he knew like, oh, I just did something I wasn't supposed to do, but hopefully these guys don't tear me limb from limb. At the end of the day, right, was like nothing happened, luckily, but it could have been bad. It could have been a lot worse than it was.
Well, like we said on the way home, like if you had been standing there, I don't think you would have been completely buried.
No.
I would have had eyes on you because I saw it happen, right? So I would have been able to see where you were. So I wouldn't have been worried necessarily about you being buried completely and the idea of suffocating. But if you had been standing next to your sled,
oh, that would have hurt.
I think you would have potentially broken a leg against the running board as you were hit from behind, or something trauma related.
Yeah,
definitely would have happened to you. And even as you're disciplined in the gym and as strong as you are, like I still feel like you probably would have gotten pretty hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I remember just afterwards, I was just standing there, not necessarily in awe or shock, but like still kind of trying to process everything, because like you said, it was the first time I'd seen one live in person, and it was fairly big for the size of the hillside.
Yeah.
But yeah. So after that, we got my sled out, got it flattened off, and then I figured I'd try to just bomb across all this snow that just slid in front of me. That didn't work out. So
I had to dig again.
Yeah, dug again, got back facing like towards
back to my sled, back to Steven.
All your sleds and stuff. And then we decided to just drop down in the gully, because Steven said he thinks there's going to be a spot. If this got blown in and was as touchy as it was, there's a spot right up here that's going to be worse. So let's just go down to the gully, bomb through it, and we'll climb up to the road on the other side. So that's what we did.
Yeah. So anything from that story and from witnessing that event, anything that you feel you would have done differently?
Yeah, I'm probably not parking where I parked. Yeah, probably not parking where I parked, and probably the second I see someone take off to go above us in terrain like that, I'm probably gonna make a valiant effort at telling them, hey, don't do that. Let's stay down here. Side note, after all that happened, you asked them if they all had transceivers. They said yes. The follow-up question was, did you guys do a trailhead check? They all kind of looked at each other.
They said no.
Said no. The thing that I think about now is, let's say we weren't there, eliminate us completely. Let's say it's just them. One of them got caught in that, even though it wasn't very big, probably not burying anybody completely. What are they going to do? They didn't do a trailhead check. Were their transceivers even on? Do they know how to use them? Would they have thought about like, oh, let's get our transceivers out and start looking for our buddy? Mm-hmm. So that kind of blew my mind too, that they just got on their sleds and took off. And then come to find out the fourth guy in the group wasn't even with them. So
he was by himself.
He was by himself. He was like, oh yeah, he was just behind us. We don't know who he's with. He's been following us the whole time.
Yeah. So my side of that conversation with him, looking back on it, what I would have done differently, because I was I don't know, like I've said on the podcast a few times, like it's pretty rare for me to get emotionally hijacked, right? Like I'm usually pretty collected. But witnessing that, I was, like you said, whether shock and awe or, whatever, I was still kind of just like processing everything, right? And so I didn't know whether to like be mad at them or just brush it off or whatever. And so I asked them if they had their transceivers, and they said yes, confidently, quickly, yes. And then I was like, did you do a trailhead check before you took off? And they, like you said, they kind of looked around, they said no. And then I just left it at that. What I would have done differently is the following question. I would have asked them, do you know how to? And if they had said yes, then I would have been like, well, why the hell did you not do a trailhead check? If they had said no, then what I should have done is stop everything and taught them how to do a trailhead check.
100%.
Right then, right there, and teach them slowly, go over it a few times. I'd run through it and then make one of them do it themselves so that they can retain the information.
Yep.
And then the second thing is process, like actually talk about what he did to cause and trigger that avalanche, and make him aware of that situation, what he did wrong. And so like I don't like to live my life with regret or anything, but I do kind of regret not taking the time to go through that. But again, I was so like still kind of processing and still like in awe. Honestly, for me, like one, just seeing it, but then two, like I couldn't get out of my head of like the series of events that happened in order for you to walk over to me to not be in it. You could have easily gone back to change your gloves after digging out, or change your lens because you got snow in it because you took your helmet off from digging out, or there could have been so many possibilities as to why you had walked back over to your sled before that had happened. So I was in my head of like, oh my gosh, like what if Jose would have been standing there? Like this would be an entirely different situation. So that withdrew me from the present moment on how I should have properly handled that situation with that other crew.
Yep.
But I didn't. And if I'm ever, hopefully I'm not ever presented with that situation again. But that's definitely what I would do differently next time.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, pretty interesting. I think on our 4.5 hour drive home, you and I discussed that topic 5 or 6 times probably. So
pretty heavily.
Okay. So now that is over with, we decided to go down in the gully, and you take us from there.
Down in the gully, we start ripping through.
Wait, but there's cookies.
For snacks. Yeah, we go down in the gully.
You want one?
I'm gonna get one, but I'm in the middle of a story, brother.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, dude, thank you. Kirkland cookies.
Yeah, next time bring me sugar cookies, not chocolate chips. I don't like chocolate. Punk. This is what I mean. Don't get snack for your friends.
Yeah,
the snacks that you like, because I don't like those.
And you're gonna make me eat 4 cookies now, dude? What a coach you are. Yeah, we start bombing through this gully. We get to a point where it's time to climb back up to get to the road, to get to the zone. Steven stopped and made sure he gave us a good lay of the land. He said, no matter which direction you go from here, it will pop you onto that road. You hit the road, you don't see us, just keep going. You'll hit a Y, stop at the Y, we'll all meet there. Yeah, so Steven took off, or Tyler took off first. Steven took off. You were behind me. I turned my GoPro on, and I thought I was gonna get a sick clip because I was like, oh, here we go, dude, deep powder. I'm ripping. I go wrong foot forward to the right side, start to take off. I washed out. So my sled is now sideways. So I get off, roll it, go to take off. Don't even think about it. Never wipe my lens. Sickest line of the day.
I think it stopped snowing and the sun kind of
poked out a little bit, dude. It for a split second it was blue, dude. Very disappointed.
Mistakes.
Severely disappointed in my lack of lens cleaning. But yeah, sickest line of the day. Didn't even get a GoPro clip. GoPro was on. You could hear everything, just couldn't see anything. Yeah. Got up to the road and we made it over to our first little zone to play in. And Titan had kind of told us about it. There was a cliff up top, and he said if you pull up through that, the trees get kind of thick, but you poke through the trees and it tabletops and it just opens up and it's cool. I think Steven and Tyler ended up ripping up there.
They went up there.
I went up halfway up and then lost sight of them. So I kind of pulled off, parked on the edge, and then apparently they had gone back down. So then I dropped back down and we kind of tore that hill up, that first little zone for, I don't know, an hour and a half. Made our way to just more zones the rest of the day, dude. And just snow was good up there. It was puking. The wind was ripping, so we'd stop and we'd get pretty cold pretty quick. But once we started moving and started getting through the trees and getting into some cover, we were sweating. We were working. We get warm pretty quick.
Yeah, we went into quite a few different little good holes. The snow was, I mean, at this point, 4 to 5 feet deep. The quality of the snow was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I mean, I don't know, just as all of us sledders know, the first ride feelings, right? To squeeze some throttle again and boost. And it was cool for me to watch you, finally on your own boost and whatnot. Yeah, there was just a ton of good moments, good lines, good snow, epic zone that we'd never been in. And shout out to Steven and Tyler both for showing us around that area. And I mean, how did you feel about overall your sled?
I don't know if it was from riding Jeff's 25 and being on the 22 now. Felt like there was a lack of power. There were
certainly a difference.
Yeah,
stock, from the factory for sure.
But there was a couple times where I bogged, pretty bad. A couple times where I wiped the snow off my intake vents, and then I got some boost. But I have a clip, actually a GoPro clip where it's like 22 seconds long, where I'm to the bar. It's just I'm not getting RPMs. I'm bogging. I even looked down at my hand at one point to make sure that I'm wide open with the throttle, and I am. And so a couple kinks we got to iron out. And I don't know. I looked at my suspension because I was talking about wanting more ski lift. I ended up looking at my suspension. My front track shock is completely bottomed out with preload, so it's all the way stiff. I softened up the rear maybe an inch and a half. But we'll see what that does. It could be just a lack of power, not being able to get the front end up. But we'll see. I'm gonna, just kind of dink with a few things and see if I can't get rid of the bog, and hopefully be more happy with the performance side of it.
But overall, I mean,
great
compared to your previous sled, your Access.
Yeah, way better, better. Even with the slight bogs when it wasn't bogging, it's much better.
Yeah.
Definitely loving the 155 boost.
Yeah.
As opposed to the 163 NA.
Yeah, and then Steven took us into a location that was pretty gnarly, pretty crazy mountains. And it was actually, they had a memorial spot for a guy by the name of Andrew Kennedy that had passed away from an avalanche right in that spot.
Yep.
They had a memory metal piece
hanging on
memorial thing hanging on the tree with his name on it and stuff, and so that was kind of eerie to stop there and look at that. And that was, I mean, I'm not surprised that it slid.
Yeah, well,
it was crazy.
There was a debris field while we were sitting there.
Yeah, it had slid already.
It had already slid
this
early in the season. So that was eerie. Probably not the best spot for me to be nose first uphill into a couple trees where I got stuck. Right below. I was in the tree line. I wasn't up in an avalanche terrain. But Yeah, he had told us. I think he said it was called Big Bear. That bull.
Yeah,
was called Big Bear, I believe. And he had kind of told us about it. I don't know, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes before we got there. And so we were poking through the trees, and I came up to a spot. I was the third guy in line, so I kind of bouncing in the ruts a little bit. And I got kind of kicked one way uphill, like nose first into two pretty large trees. So I hit a little brake tap. Hit a little brake tap, and I tried to back up a little bit just to give myself a little more room to try to carve out away from the trees. It didn't work out too well. Like Steven said, I made a Oreo McFlurry behind me. I got down to dirt pretty quick.
Yeah.
But as I'm sitting there trying to pack some snow in around my sled, he goes, "Yeah, this is where that avalanche happened." But very unfortunate. Definitely an eerie feeling knowing you're in an area where something like that happened.
Yep.
But being there, looking at it from the bottom up, you can see why. It's a very large hillside, and you have nowhere to go when you're at the bottom of that.
Yep. Yeah, then we went into. From there he took us over to the burn, which was where the video that he had posted was.
I've been bugging about it all day.
Yeah.
I asked like 3 or 4 times, "Where's the burn? Where's the burn?"
Yeah, and then by that time, I spoke up. I was pretty smoked.
Yeah.
I think it was
2-ish.
Yeah, because we got back to the truck, loaded up, and we're rolling at 3:30. But so yeah, overall, I mean, there was definitely quite a few other zones that Steven wants to take us back to check out. And then I just got a text message from Titan. Sounds like he wants to go up there this coming Saturday as well too. So we got to figure out a way to convince Jeff, and then the 3 of us will go right up there again.
Hopefully.
But really cool zone. Definitely, I don't know, man. Out of what I've seen, probably the best snow in
around here,
the PNW, excluding Canada, obviously. But
yeah, it was great.
So, but yeah, it was definitely overall a very interesting but epic first ride. I mean, new zone, that good of snow. Pretty good benchmark for a first ride for the season.
Yep.
Steven was pretty jealous. I think that was like his 4th time out.
Yeah.
He was pretty jealous that it was our first, to be that good. But yeah, so definitely looking forward to the season. It was good to, scratch the itch, as they say, squeeze some boost and get back on it. I'm pretty brutally sore. My muscles.
Yeah.
And I think I looked at my Whoop at the end of the day. I burnt 6,113 calories that day.
Those are some calories burnt, brother.
Yeah.
Those are definitely
hungry.
That is a high output day.
Any being the first ride, a couple mistakes and things that I forgot. I forgot my neck gaiter, and then I forgot to pack water. So I cramped up pretty bad. But other than that, I pretty much covered all of my bases and remembered everything, and everything was good. Anything for you that you were like, oh, I forgot. This was the first ride.
I forgot to check the oil on my sled. And I didn't tell you until we were checked into the hotel.
Luckily, I had some in my truck. But
luckily, I didn't need any. There was oil in the reservoir.
Yep.
So, yeah. Other than that, I think I had everything. I was pretty well prepped. Because like we said in the beginning of the episode, we were planning on Canada, so I was like, I'm not gonna miss anything. Like, I don't want to forget anything.
Yeah.
So I was pretty well prepared as far as gear goes. Another thing too, this isn't just our first ride of the year. It's my first ride since being in the gym consistently and heavily. Obviously, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in a lot better position physically now than I was the last time I was on a sled.
By how much weight?
By the end of the season, I had already been in the gym for 5 or 6 months, but from the end of the season to where I'm at right now, 35-ish pounds.
Heck yeah.
35, 40, somewhere.
That's sick, dude.
Somewhere in that range. But man, I could tell the difference. I remember we were talking after we were in the burn, and you were like, dude, I'm pretty smoked. Like, I'm ready to go to the truck.
Yeah.
We left the burn, got up to the road, we went back to that first little hill that we were playing on, and then you got us on the radio, and you were like, "Hey, I'm hanging out down here. Like, you guys are good. Go do what you need to do." And then they pulled all the way up to the top. Well, I came down, and I came back over to where you were. And I just, dude, I pulled back up to you, and I remember like thinking to myself, like, this time of the day last year, I'm smoked, dude. Yeah. Like, don't get me off camber because I cannot stand on my sled. And dude, I took my helmet off, and I literally told you, I was like, dude, I feel great. Yeah. Like, I'm not tired. I got arm pump, but that's normal from squeezing throttle all day long, you know. But like, other than that, like, I feel I'm not cramping. I'm not tired. Like, I don't feel like my sled's in control of me. Like, I felt good. Yeah. So I am excited. That's just a little more motivation to just stay in the gym and stay with it.
I mean, that's as if you need any more reassurance, right? Because you're already confident with where you're at physically and stuff. But I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
That's a serious pill of reassurance.
And that was the thing, like, all summer long, all I was thinking was like, am I even going to tell a difference? Like, is this a waste of time? Like, I'm just going to get back on the sled and be dead anyways, you know? And not that I'm doing it just for riding, right? Yeah. But like, that is the biggest factor. And so when 2:30, 3 o'clock was rolling around, dude, and I was like, I could probably still ride for another handful of hours. Like, it was a good feeling. So yeah, just a little more motivation to stay in it, stay in the gym, keep going, because there's going to be weekends where we ride 2, 3, 4 days maybe, and we'll find out if I'm ready for it or not when we get there.
It's coming.
Yeah,
we got quite a few trips coming up. So
yes, we does.
Definitely a lot more episodes of riding coming your guys' way as well too. So do we want to, let's wrap this episode up, but do we want to end it with a question, or would you rather? Jeff, you got anything off the top of your mind?
I don't know. Talk about what you learned from the experience.
Yeah.
What we would have done differently too.
I got a would you rather. Let's say,
wow.
Let's just say this one might be kind of good actually. Even let's just say.
So it's all right.
Yeah, it might be all right. Let's say hypothetically, you guys, one of the viewers, is the person in that group that triggered the avalanche, right? And then you have T. Smith coming and asking you, did you do a trailhead check? Would you rather us, obviously we're gonna stop and do it now regardless. Would you rather someone call you out on that and say, hey, you guys should not have left the parking lot before you did this? Or would you rather that person just kind of say, okay, walk away and leave you alone?
Yeah. Let us know. I mean, to be fair, you don't know what you don't know, right? So you would think that to answer that, it'd be like, yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
So, but good question. Let us know in the comments below. And yeah, as always, I appreciate you guys being here, regardless of what platform you're on. We're wrapping up this episode, and we will see you guys on the next one.